Good evening, everybody. Clapping already, huh? My name is Bill Wethe, and my wife Jeannie and I have lived here in Sun City Shadow Hills for just under 7 years. I recently became the chairman of the Finance Advisory Committee, and I've been serving on that committee since June of this year. Other members of our committee include Rod Wenger, who will speak to you after me, Jem Mims, and then Bruce Marley, who is not with us tonight and will be returning to the community later this month. And then our board liaison is the treasurer of the board, Carrie Thompson. Okay, we're ready. Oops, go back. One more back. There we go. These are the topics that I'll cover briefly this evening. It's an overview of our charter and mission of the FAC, or the Finance Advisory Committee. We'll do a quick overview of our current and completed work assignments, and then also review the experience, expertise, and qualities of the FAC members. Next is our charter. Like the advisory committees also represented here, this advisory committee has been established by the board of directors. It's what they call a standing committee. We're advisory to the board, so we make recommendations to the board. We serve at the pleasure of the board, and we get to make recommendations on items related to financial matters of the board and the community. Let's go to the next one, mission. We just revised the charter and mission, submitted that to the board. They approved it at their September meeting. And so this is very fresh and consistent with what we've discussed really since the month of June. We meet regularly, which means monthly. Oops. He's quick at the draw here, but as the next police chief, that's probably... So we do meet regularly. Since June, we've met 7 times, both in regular and special meetings. And we have 2 more meetings in November. But generally, we meet once a month. And then we've been meeting a little more frequently as we've been interviewing potential candidates to join our committee and to address some other items. Our mission also includes a number of items, not unlike emergency preparedness and landscape, and probably all the other committees. The mission or the objectives of that are significant in an advisory role. We review all the monthly financial statements prepared by the 3 management companies, PCM, Associa, now Troon Golf, and before that Western Golf. We make recommendations to the board on accounting and financial reporting matters. We prepare reports, as you would expect, and we make recommendations on best practices to the board and to the management companies. Next. We also review investment performance. We're meeting with the investment advisors on the investment of the replacement funds at our regular meeting in November. We review major contracts. Before I joined the committee, I reviewed every contract, major contract that the HOA had entered into. And we'll see on some of the completed assignments of the other work we've done. We also review for contract compliance. It's great to have a contract, but it's also important that both parties, us and the providing party, are in compliance with the contract. We review the budgets. We review insurance coverage, and we review the annual audited financial statements. Next. We also review the annual management letter from the auditor, which would point out any suggestions that they have in the internal controls and practices that are utilized by the management companies that are managing the operations for the board of directors and the community. We also review the annual tax returns and the annual reserve study for the replacement funds. As requested, we do research and analysis, and as requested, we do education and communication to those that would be helpful to. And then the last mission is we do other duties as requested. And we also work with other advisory committees to the board and fostering a spirit of working together be helpful. We'll now go to our current and completed work assignments. They're extensive as well. As I mentioned, we updated the mission and charter and got board approval of that last month. We also prepared a compilation of all the experience, expertise, qualities, and diversity of the members on the Finance Advisory Committee. We look at this every month to see what skills and experience we have, what we're looking for, and that's utilized in our evaluating of potential other people to join the committee. We interviewed 2 candidates earlier this month. We have 2 more candidates that we're interviewing early next month to fill our committee, which is currently slotted to have seven members, and we're 4 at this time. We've also created, over the last 4 months, new Excel files, working papers to create the unaudited monthly financial statements and the treasurer's reports. Some of those you've seen in the view. We've prepared board action forms, recommendations that we've had from our review of our financial statements, our practices, etc. We've now prepared and submitted 12 recommendations for enhancements to things that are currently in process. We've really received excellent cooperation from the management companies, as well as the board and our board liaison. And in our call with our Troon Golf Management representatives, their finance and accounting department, they indicated that they've been getting really good cooperation from Western Golf. And as you probably all know, they ceased managing the F&B and golf in June. So it's important that that transition worked well. And they've reported that Western Golf has been doing a good job. We got an opportunity to review the Troon Golf Management contract before it was signed. We got an opportunity to look at the PCM contract extension and renewal. And I also got an opportunity to review the Troon Golf sample reporting package and to make recommendations on how it could be improved to facilitate the analysis by the Finance Advisory Committee and then Rod's committee. Next. Whoops. I went too fast for you. We looked at, we've been very involved in the review of the 2017 budget, which I understand will be finalized or for the board final approval on Monday of next week. Before we did that, we looked extensively at the 2015 and 14 audited financial statements. I wanted to make sure I understood what the policies were that had been adopted by the association. And we met with the auditor at the end of September to confirm our understanding and to review some of the recommendations. Through this date, me personally and our group, we've been through the April, May, June, July, and August financial statements of PCM. We've also seen the Troon Golf financial statements for the month of September. We've had review and extensive comments on the reserve study or the replacement fund study. And we've also been very involved in the transition of the management from food and beverage and golf management from Western Golf to Troon Golf. We've also now scheduled meetings with our depository institutions for our regular recurring banking accounts, as well as the investment accounts of the replacement funds. Okay, next. Last but not least is to review experience, expertise, and qualities of the FAC members. Like everyone here, we're all volunteers. We all live in the community. We're here to serve the board. I think Jeff mentioned this, serve the board and the community. We have, as you've probably seen just from the handout on the leaders of the committees, the members of the committees also have very extensive backgrounds in finance and accounting and financial reporting. I lead that committee. I've got 40 years plus of that, probably more than I need. I'm going to be retiring in June of next year and from the active private life business. that I've got significant experience in HOA, fund accounting, golf management, food and beverage accounting. I do this for a living. The company I work for, we manage 40 different homeowner and condominium management associations, so I'm very confident and comfortable in how the financial accounting and reporting should be. We have a member of the committee as an investment banker, which will be helpful in the review and analysis of our investment policies with respect to the replacement funds. With the addition of Rod, who joined our committee in October of this month, we've brought F&B knowledge and experience related to financial reporting. We have members who have experience and expertise in research and analysis, contract compliance, treasury management. I deal quite a bit in cybersecurity and PCI, or payment card industry compliance, with all the golf courses and restaurants that the company that I work for manages. And we have a number of people that have experience in both risk management and insurance. And lastly, Jim, I think I'm doing pretty good on my time. As you can tell from what people have said and what's in the handout, the volunteers are actively involved in the community. They have a genuine interest in doing what's right for the community, and that makes it very helpful when you're working together, because we need to work collectively and collaboratively and be able to share ideas and agree, and also be able to disagree on items that come up that we need to work through. Thank you.